Critics are up in arms about the World Cup gender gap. The prize money for women is far less than for men, and commentators attribute the gap to sexism and what some call the grass ceiling. Well, could they be right? Let's review the evidence, coming up next on The Factual Feminist. This summer, the U.S. women's soccer team electrified the nation when it defeated Germany 2-0 and then Japan 5-2 to win the World Cup. But instead of celebrating the team's brilliant performance and the continuing growth of women's soccer, many in the media are fixating on what they see as a shameful World Cup pay gap. The U.S. women's team collected only $2 million in prize money for its victory over Japan, but for the corresponding men's competition in 2014, the winning German team won $35 million, while the Americans, who lost in the round of 16, took home $8 million. Well, spurred by media reports, Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont introduced a resolution on the floor of the U.S. Senate urging FIFA, the organization that sponsors the World Cup, urging them to immediately eliminate pay inequity. Well, here's where I think the senator and the media critics go wrong. The prize disparity has more to do with sports economics than sexism. The women's players are formidable athletes, and the Women's World Cup is growing rapidly in popularity, especially in the United States. But it's still nowhere near the Men's Cup in terms of world popularity. According to FIFA, the 2011 Women's World Cup had an audience reach of less than 250 million viewers. Now, that was around the world. For the Men's World Cup in 2010, the figure was 2.2 billion around the world. That same year, the Men's World Cup generated nearly 3.7 billion in revenue, while the Women's World Cup generated about 73 million. Now, FIFA may be a troubled organization, and sexism can probably be counted among its many vices, but the differences in its men's and women's prizes are actually less than the differences in its revenues from the two competitions. Market forces, rather than sexism, appear to explain the pay gap in soccer. Well, the pay equity activists, they've heard all this before, and they have a reply. They will ask, why should we accept market forces? After all, these forces are shaped by a culture that has been hostile to women traditionally. Shane Farrow, who is a feminist business reporter at the Business Insider, says it this way. She says, we've all been socialized to accept men's sports as dominant and more interesting. And she says, once society internalizes a falsehood, it's very hard to correct. Well, hard, but apparently not impossible, because there's now a call for sports equity activists to change the market by re-socializing fans. Sports fans, for the most part, will watch whatever you put in front of them, says Kavitha Davidson at Bloomberg News. She just thinks we should highlight the women's teams and that fan interest and excitement will come. And a recently published study by feminist sociologists comes to the same conclusion. The authors lament that women's sports receive only about 3% of network TV attention, and that's down from 5% in 1989. And the major sports media, they say, is a place set up by men for men to celebrate men's sensational athletic accomplishments while giving short shrift to women's achievements. They acknowledge that there are fewer female teams, so they suggest that for now, the media increase coverage of women's sports to about 12 to 18%. And they also specify that the sportscasters should report on the women's news with the same enthusiasm as men's sports. More coverage plus enthusiasm will increase the fan base. That'll drive up women's salaries and prizes. Well, I think it might be the gender sociologists and the feminist journalists, not the sports fans, who have internalized a falsehood. There are athletic competitions where women attract more fans than men. Think of figure skating or gymnastics, for example. And women's tennis. I mean, it's not as popular as men's, but it certainly has a large and devoted audience. But when it comes to team sports like basketball, football, soccer, no amount of affirmative action enthusiasm is going to even the score. I mean, men are stronger, faster, and bigger than women, both on average and at the extremes. And most fans, not all, but most, want to see the sport they love played at the highest level. Men's professional teams are a fascination to many millions of fans because they offer extreme competition, performance, and heroics. And women's team sports, however skilled and admirable, rarely compare in Promethean drama. So there's a fallacy at the heart of the sports equity argument. The equity activists insist that the male and female athletes should be treated exactly the same. At the same time, they accept that the sexes are different and must play on separate teams. Well, I think to be consistent, they should call for integrated teams and let men and women compete together for the same audience and receive the same prizes. Now, that would probably end the career of most female athletes, but a few would make it, and if they do it in a popular sport like basketball or soccer, they would become some of the richest and most famous athletes of all time. Now, I doubt that politicians and activist journalists are actually going to propose this, but it makes just as much sense as insisting that women's teams with separate standards of performance must be given the same salary, prize, and publicity and enthusiasm that the men's teams enjoy. My suggestion, let's take the gender politics out of sports altogether and then just enjoy the games. Well, if you found this video to be valuable, please subscribe to the series, follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and thank you for watching The Factual Feminist.